Hey guys, I'm learning TFT. In this video, I'm going to go through a deep dive of how to play Ambusher Reroll. You can see here that Ambusher Reroll has been steadily improving in AVP, and it's the biggest winner in the 13.3 patch compared to last patch. I did an analysis of the 13.3 versus 13.2b a few days ago, and I just updated it. Ambusher Reroll continues to climb. It was at a 4.6 at the start of the patch, but as players are starting to figure out how to play it more, that AVP is rising. And you can see here that I put a diff column here of AVP, 0.7 diff from 5.1 to 4.4, and I suspect that this will keep rising as players start to realize how to play it. It's similar to the Renata Singed reroll from last patch, where in the beginning people were not really optimizing the reroll line well. They were rerolling the wrong units. And I believe that is occurring with Ambusher reroll as well, which is that you don't want to focus on Camille unless you have very specific artifact items, but rather you want to be rolling on level 7 with shooting for Smeech 3 and Echo 2. So I'm going to do a deep dive into Ambusher Reroll. Before we do that, actually, and I just want to add that the reason that Ambushers got so much better is because literally every Ambusher except for Jinx, Powder, Camille, Smeech, and Echo got buffed. Loris also got buffed. And so this line has gotten way better. It's far more stable in the early mid game and has a much higher cap now than it did before. It went from 6% win rate to 13% win rate. So before we do that, I'm going to have a little brief discussion in the beginning on kind of a philosophical topic on patience, as well as a random question. So if you want to jump straight into the Ambusher Reroll analysis, feel free to use the timestamp in the description below. So first, the random question. This was prompted by my wife. She just posed a question to me at bedtime last night that I thought was kind of funny, and she was like, oh, you should just pose this to your viewers. So I'm going to ask you a random question. So would you rather, and this was an image generated by ChatGPT, fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? And I believe my wife mentioned this was a Reddit question, or maybe she modified it, I'm not sure. And my response was that and my wife and I disagreed on this. I would rather fight 100 duck-sized horses, like this size, rather than a horse-sized duck, since ducks can fly. And I assume a horse-sized duck can also fly. Maybe if the horse-sized duck couldn't fly, that would change my analysis. Because at least for 100 duck-sized horses, I could like climb a tree and I'd be safe. Or I could run into a house and I'd be safe. Whereas a horse-sized duck, if it was really trying to get me, it could get me in a tree. It could probably break through a window. Like, this horse-sized duck seems pretty aggressive, and I don't want to be facing that. So I'm curious what your thoughts on. My wife would be very interested to hear what your thoughts on this are. And she also asked, since both my wife and I are, my wife's 40 and I'm approaching 40, and my daughter is 5, would you rather fight 45-year-olds or 5 40-year-olds? So just a random question that I thought was entertaining. And then on the next topic is I want to talk about patience, since in the last videos I have been talking about shifting my time allocated to TFT from playing maybe like 90% of the time to really spending more of that time researching, watching VODs, doing this kind of analysis, making videos like this, which are helpful for me to learn and explore and have more fun. But I've been feeling quite a lot of impatience around like, oh, I just want to finish this so I could go play, so I can test whether this methodology is working, so I can start climbing. And I wanted to go back to I have like a lot of book quotes that I reference. So I wanted to go back to my database of knowledge and pull some random quotes on patience, which I believe can be helpful for me and hopefully helpful for you. So Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." So this is just the first step, get started. But then after you get started, you got to be patient. So Rainer Maria Rilke, I forget, he was German author, said, "To be an artist means not to reckon and count, to ripen like the tree, which does not force its sap, and stands confident in the storms of spring, without fear lest no summer might come after. It does come." So instead of being impatient that, hey, I need to get into my next game, there's a certain amount of trust that if we can be like the tree and trust that, like, yeah, and this is true even if you are playing and you're going on tilt, you went on a loss streak, that the storms are what make trees stronger. It's what makes you build more character. When you lose in TFT, if you are learning from all of the losses, summer will come, and it is through the storms of spring that actually allow your fruits to grow more ripe. And that's what Goethe said in Faust. "The gardener knows, however small the tree, that bloom and fruit adorn its later years." So the gardener doesn't force the tree or the flower or the fruit to bloom right away. The gardener is patient. I don't even know how to pronounce this philosopher's name, but I did enjoy this book. Luc de Clapierre de Vauvenargues. He said, "Quick fortunes of all kinds are the least solid, because it is rare that they are the work of merit. Ripe fruit, through careful labor, always comes late." Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT, said, "One of the notable aspects of compound growth is that the farthest out years are the most important. In a world where almost no one takes a truly long-term view, the market richly rewards those who do." So this is very relevant from a business standpoint, though it is also relevant in TFT, especially at the beginning of a new set and a new patch, that it makes far more sense to invest in that compound growth early on in the patch or set, invest in the learning up front, because you do get that compound effect, and then to cash in your returns, down the line, and be patient. The Dhammapada translation, I think this is a Indian philosophical text, said, "Don't underestimate good, saying it can't happen to me. Water falling drop by drop will fill even a large pot. Likewise, the wise man accumulating good, little by little, becomes goodness itself." And Michael Jordan, one of the greats of all time in basketball, said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." So when I'm thinking about applying this to myself, first, I notice the impatience, and the awareness at least allows me to make a choice to not impulsively jump into a game. I make the choice to do this analysis, to make this video. And I note that there are a lot of philosophical greats of the past and business and sports elites of the present that mention that patience is important. And to view this analysis that I'm doing, this research process, as the tree that's confronting the storm, that I am watering the plants, I am doing work of merit, getting compound growth, that this water falling drop by drop will fill the pot, and that it is through this process of failing over and over when I'm playing the games that leads to success. So I hope that these ideas can help you both in TFT as well as whatever new initiatives or projects are happening in your life, you have a dream you want to pursue, to not give up, to be patient, to give yourself time and allow yourself forgiveness if you're not getting there immediately, and to just trust, believe in yourself, believe in the process, believe in something out there, whether you believe in God or karma, wherever it is. This was a big idea by Steve Jobs as well, is to trust in something, the mystery of the universe, whatever it is, that you're worthy of it and that you're capable of getting there. And that at least gives you the shot, because if you don't believe, if you don't have trust, if you don't have the patience, you have a 0% chance of achieving that outcome that you're dreaming of. All right, so with that said, let's dive into Ambusher Reroll. So at a high level, this is the board that you want to go for. Let me actually update this to reflect what you're really trying to optimize for. So Smeech 3 is the target. If you get Camille 3, great. And Echo 2. And let me finish putting this in. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my videos are designed to be a work in progress, which is not going to be as polished and scripted as other videos out there, which is why I do dynamic stuff like this. TFT is a game that's constantly evolving, so this is a reflection and metaphor for that. And hopefully it helps you get a little more insight into my learning process. Okay. So, Ambusher Reroll. The goal is to hit Smeech 3. If you hit Camille 3, that's great. But Smeech 3 and Echo 2 are probably going to be more important, which means that you are not rolling on level 6. You're rolling on level 7 to find primarily Smeech 3. And then if you can get Camille 3, great, but Echo 2. And also one thing, big thing of note is that there's a huge difference in AVP between 4 Ambusher and 5 Ambusher. You go from 5.6 AVP to 4.0. So if you have an Ambusher emblem, that helps a lot. But this also means finding that Jinx, if you don't have the emblem, makes a huge difference. Which is why you really want to go to 7. I believe on level 7, you have, what, a 1% chance to hit 5 cost. So at least you give yourself like that Hail Mary out. But more importantly, Smeech 3 is more important. And let's see, core, we can look into the stats here. So Camille 3 averages a 4.0, 58% top 4, 16% win rate. Whereas Smeech 3 improves that by 0.3 AVP, 7% top 4, and 3% win rate. Even just an Echo 2 compared to a Camille 3 is a big difference. And so when you're rolling on 7, your 4 cost odds go up, are basically doubled compared to level 6, and your 3 cost odds go from 25 to 40. So that's why you just want to roll on 7 instead of 6. If you roll on 7, you can still find the Camille 3 if you high roll, but the Camille 3 is less important. The one exception is if you have Camille specific artifacts, especially the top ones, and I'll go into the artifacts in a sec here. So I have a broken down artifact list. But the other thing to note is that finding a Jinx 2 is your win condition. If you can get 5 Ambusher, Jinx 2, that's how you cap out your board. All right, so you only roll on level 6 if you have a Camille specific artifact, which is basically Prowlers or Spectral Cutlass. These 3 are worse performing. So Camille with Prowlers 3.7, Spectral Cutlass 3.6, whereas Silver Mirror's 4.0. So, and Silver Mirror is not very good on Smeech since Smeech kind of jumps around anyway. So really, you only want to consider Camille reroll and roll on 6 if you get Spectral Cutlass or Prowler's Claw. These are the best Smeech items, Prowler's Claw and Death's Defiance. And then these artifacts are all quite good, but not like great. These are like 4.0, these are sub 4.0. As far as itemization goes, these are the best builds. So Edge of Night, BT Titan. So I have that here, or Hodge instead of the BT. So let me change this order so it's more clear. It's interesting that BT performs better than Hodge, even though ambushers just want more crit chance. I suspect it's just because of the shield. It allows Camille to survive longer with the BT shield. And then for Smeech, Titans performs better than Edge of Night. He is kind of jumping around, which maybe puts him at risk, but his HP total is a little bit higher. And so Titan gives him more tankiness over the long haul of the fight and has a way higher cap. So we have that listed here. So the double healing is very relevant for Smeech since he is going into like kind of the jumping around a lot. And then Echo, BT, Death Cap, Hodge. Let me change the order of this too so it's you can see like kind of the main difference between the two. All right, and then so yeah, Death Cap is probably the best item. Death Cap Hodge just wants a lot more damage since I think he has some, I forget if Echo has some shielding in his kit. Let's see. Well, he does have scrap if you have scrap built in. No shielding. But he's kind of tanky already. So you just want, well, I guess you have double healing here too, but you definitely want more damage. And Rabadon's gives damage amp. All right, so that covers the normal items, we covered the artifacts. Support. This comp actually kind of reminds me of, what was it? Duelists from, was it 2 sets ago? Where you could reroll like the 2 or 3 costs, or you could just go for the 4 costs. Like, even if you don't find the Smeech 3 or Camille 3, if for some reason you're like just hitting a bunch of echoes and low rolling the Smeeches, there was that patch with the Duelist where you could reroll, I think it was like Tristana and Volibear, or you could go for 4 costs in Lee Sin. And I think this is very similar because the support items are very similar to that patch, where you could actually play 2 Echo 2s and then just move these items over to the Echoes on level 8 or level 9. You just take out this Loris. You can also replace this Loris with Vi. So go into the unit variants. These 3 all have Enforcer with Camille, which is more relevant if you have a Camille 3. That 8th spot is more flexible. But if you hit like a Vi 2 on your roll down and you're behind on Smeech or Echo, you could just move items over to Vi. And if you have an Ambusher emblem, that's actually especially good. So I'll go into the emblems. So Ambusher emblem surprisingly averages a 4.5, so it's not that great. Firelight is actually really good. Just gives a lot more survivability and gives backline access to Camille especially. Smeech already jumps around, and it helps them heal. So Firelight is quite good. If you do have Firelight, you want to go towards 4 Firelight, I believe. So 4 Firelight is much better than 3 Firelight, so you want to throw in Zeri if you have the Firelight emblem. And so you basically would take out Loris in that last spot. And you'll note here, I talked about this earlier, 4 Ambusher versus 5 Ambusher has a huge ABP dip. Firelight emblem, add Zeri. Caitlyn can also be an item holder for Jinx if you happen to have Jinx items like Blue Buff, Shojin, IE, Last Whisper, stuff like that. Loris, you can add in Sentinel at level 9, so like a Rumble would be really good since you get Scrap. You already have 2 Scrap there, but if you have like a Ambusher emblem and you have Loris Rumble, you could take out Powder. And if you hit a Jinx 2, and you get to level 9, this is like the super cap out. So let's say you hit the Jinx 2, you get to level 9, you have this Loris here. You could take out Garen and Scar and add in Aurelia, Alawi for 3 Rebel with Jinx, and Rumble for 4 Sentinel. That's like super giga cap if you for some reason have unlimited gold. Or if you just happen to hit those units. Let's say you happen to hit those units instead of Garen or Scar. So actually on the flex roll down here, you can get Alawi / Loris. Can replace Garen. Alawi can substitute for Garen if Miss Garen and have tank items. So if you happen to hit that Alawi 2 instead of the Garen, then you can actually, and you hit the Jinx early, then you can actually go into 4 Sentinel if you're way ahead of tempo. But most of the time you won't be, because if you're going for Smeech 3, you're kind of sitting on 7. So that angle is like if you hit an Alawi 2 instead of Garen, and you hit Echo 2 and you hit like Jinx 1 and you're pushing levels, and for some reason you have tempo, that's also a possibility. So going back to like the comparison with ambushers to duelists, that's why Locket's good, Knight's Vow is good, Randuin's is solid, though it kind of messes up with your positioning since you want everybody to like be a melee up front. But with the augment, I forgot what it's called. I'll go into the augments in a little bit. The augment that like spreads this range allows you to not mess up the positioning so much. Banshee is very good since you can get it across 3 carries, or you could put the Banshees on Garen, and then Zeke's also very good. So these are basically all of the same melee support items that were good for duelists from last set or 2 sets ago. Radiant items, Radiant Hodge and BT are the best. So just healing, you got a ton of damage with the ambushers and crit, so just more healing is especially good. In the early game, you are playing around these 4 units usually. This is a really good opener. You slam your melee healing items on Camille, or even if you have a Trundle too, you could just do like a BT, half a component, scrap that on Trundle. Trundle can actually be pretty good in the early game. And then on level 6, on 3-2, usually you can do a 3-2 roll down to hit Camille 2 to stabilize if you have a bunch of pairs. If you're really far away from that, then maybe you wait till level 7 and do like an aggressive roll down at level 7. But you definitely want to preserve HP in stage, like middle stage 3, late stage 3, because you're gonna be weak in stage 4 once all the fast 8 players hit their 2-star forecasts. So you kind of have this window where between ideally 3-2 and like let's say 4-5, you are strong, and then once the 2-star forecasts come online, you're going to be weak, and then once you do your aggressive roll down on let's say 5-1 to 5-3 or your 3-star Smeech, then you spike again in power relative to the lobby. So you do want to make sure that you're not just hoarding all your gold and being weak the whole time, because then you're just going to die. Okay, so stabilize with Camille 2, push to 7, slow roll for Smeech 3 and Echo. Powder can hold Echo items in the early game. Okay, we went over that. Portals. Crab-Rave and Artifact Anvil are good. Crab-Rave gives you a lot more gold, which this is a 3-cost reroll line, so I suspect, what was it, the Loot Sub and I forget what the non-Crab-Rave one is, but that basically more resources are good and artifacts are good. Alright, Anomalies. Okay, Augments. So this is probably not an exhaustive list, but this was kind of what I saw, and we'll do some VOD reviews to see if there's anything that I missed here. But healing and gold is valuable. Pandora's Bench, you're rolling Smeech, Scar, Loris. You can all 3-star, though these are expensive gold. But you can also, I guess at the 2-cost level, it's just Camille, so it's not as efficient. And if you do have Pandora's Bench, then you can also pair that with like a Trifecta. These are also not sorted in any particular order. I just did them by like kind of tier. Lineup, because you're putting most of your units in the front line, gives you a lot of tankiness. Then you would move your powder and maybe your Jinx up. If you have a Jinx 2 that's fully itemized, you probably move her to the back. Latent Forge and Portable Forge gives you artifacts. Loot Explosion is like maybe one of the best line art augments you can take. Just gives you a lot more resources. Inspiring Epitaph, more tankiness, attack speed really good. Glove, a lot of items is good because you have like 3 possible carries, 4 carries. Epic helps you level and roll. Just the gold for the 3 cost is really good. Ambusher Crown also gives you a Hodge, which is like basically one of the best items, so very strong. Buried Treasures, Caretaker's Chosen for more items. Caretaker's Chosen is like almost like handpicked, I feel like, for this, because it's perfect for 3-cost reroll. They adjusted it this set so it gets the Radiant Cash at level 7 instead of level 8. So, and with reroll, you always want more items, so this is perfect for this comp. Flurry of Blows, we already saw that Zeke's is very good, but it also gives you additional crit, I believe. Very strong. Prismatic Ticket, more gold value. Max Cap can help you hit both the Camille 3, Smeech 3, and you can probably get 2 Echo 2s since you get so much gold. And you could just roll so much at level 7, and you still get 8 units worth of value. The hard part is your odds of finding Jinx are pretty low, though you are rolling a ton of gold. So the downside of Max Cap gets minimized if you already have an Ambusher emblem. Which, by the way, if you're not familiar, you want a pan and a glove for the Ambusher emblem and a spat and a glove for Firelight. So you just need a lot of gloves in this comp. Immovable Object makes your whole team tanky. We talked about how Randuin's good, and it doesn't mess up your positioning as much. Lucky Gloves, again, because you have so many carries. Jinx, even like 2-star Garen would be good with Lucky Gloves. Quite good. And the gloves synergize with the Ambusher. Like, since your spells can crit, the gloves themselves give you more crit chance, so it's really good. And same idea applies to roll the dice. I'm not going to go into all of these. One thing I'll call out is that the trait ones where it gives you a Jinx plus I think it's like a Vi or Savika, because with Vi it was already a possible replacement for Loris, can get you the 5 Ambusher more quickly. And so it minimizes your risk of not getting to the 5 Ambusher, as we talked about. The diff is pretty large. And yeah, that kind of covers the augments. I think I already went over the traits, WinCon. Okay, so anomalies. And I'm going to fill this in more. But basically, you're looking for anomalies that give you more survivability. So invisibility for both Camille and Smeech are good. Bully at 3-star, and I think for most part these are both like interchangeable. So I don't know that I would necessarily make a distinction between these. And then Echo, you want more like kind of tankiness, but these can be all quite good as well. And so with that said, I'm going to go through some VODs to... I'm not going to do a super detailed, like, go through the entire VOD, but rather I want to see how and when did they decide to commit? How deep did they roll on 3-2 to stabilize? And what anomalies did they select? So let's see, where's my... Okay, and I didn't select all like first place games. I just kind of wanted to get broad strokes on this.
Don't have to like play for a Sentinel lottery or whatever.
Okay, so let's see.
Rest is just other stuff. Enforcers and Sentinels.
Dishsoap.
So I don't fully agree with that.
So Heroic Grab Bag, Scuttle Puddle.
By the way.
Okay, worth the wait 5. He's already building the tank items.
I mean, they're not really for me though. Is the thing. Seem better, maybe. Switch is like Loki kind of a beast.
And then he found.
Honestly, I could play towards Ambushes as well.
That's super interesting. So worth the wait. Violet into
Ambushes. I wasn't really angling it that hard.
Already had melee items. Alright, and then I want to jump to 3-2 to see how.
Oh man.
So this actually shows that the early
5 speeches already, bro. What even is this
game? Another alternative for this is
I don't have a slam though, which is not good.
Violet to
Spark.
and also item hold early. Alright, so he stabilized off of Violet 3 and then moved over. Oh, this is fascinating.
This is like always Hodge. My planner is dog shit.
Alright, so he's very healthy, 72 HP at 3-7. Has the Titans and Hodge. Still has the Violet.
The speech.
Alright.
Loud. I mean, it works for Rachel Fly.
Okay, mentorship is actually quite good if you're going for Smeech 3 as well. I didn't include that in my augments.
Rumble 2. Okay, I probably should just commit Crown Guard. What? Bro, I'm not even the lucky one here, man. Stop pongoing. I am not the lucky one in this.
And then I want to see what he does for
That's nothing. That really is nothing. Okay, I took this last time, and I don't want to take it again. Like, just give me something that keeps him alive.
So you want something to keep him alive.
I mean, maybe we should take Bully. But what if I don't hit Jinx? Yeah, whatever, man. Just take Bully.
H3 Bully. Oh, by the way, Anomaly, you can also pick a calling card on... Who would you take calling card on? Look at all the ambushers. So he was just saying, what if he doesn't hit Jinx? Scrap Fam Enforcer, Baron. I mean, Firelight, like calling card Echo gives you a 2 out of 3 chance of getting either Firelight or Ambusher, which are both quite good. If you get Scrap, that's good. So that's an option. Okay, that was Dishsoap Game 1. I keep the links here in case people ask for them.
He actually did. Oh my god, get me out. He actually took an 8-0. Good.
Okay, not today could go down this path.
There it is.
Oh, Cooking Pot. I forgot about Cooking Pot. Cooking pot gives you the pan, which with glove would give you the ambusher emblem, and especially if you have an early smeech, it could let you stack up HP, which is really good for this line. All right, that was the last game.
Just thinking about these two.
Not today. I believe I had not today, right? Yeah, I had not today. All right, Edge of Night, solid. And then he's already kind of thinking.
Maybe Reroll Augments. It's allowed.
I mean, at this point, Edge of Night.
I mean, that's why either just tempo to speech or. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like Smeech or Ambessa.
That would not be playing around like step at all. Seems kind of hard to get to the units.
But for Emissary, Ambessa like isn't really doing good in the stats. So, right, we got the direction. How deep does he roll on 3-2?
Gotta get perfect items.
So he full streaked with Darius. Okay, so that's another takeaway is we can early item holders. Can be Trundle,
On a block right here.
Darius.
Obviously, last like I'm gonna level and play Enforcer so I can get their augment a bit. You know, kills us some though, because the thing is, we're already like armor shot for this board, and I'd rather play around bow glove than cloak, or bow cloak than cloak. I think I lost this fight though. Yeah, this guy's way too much tempo. Like,
He's already pretty strong here, so he doesn't need to do an aggressive roll down.
Oh, but I wouldn't be like, I'm reverse glad. I mean, I know what it's doing here. This is the game of TFT. Forward, but hopefully the scar focus. Just like. Or was it even worse crafting a powder one? I mean, that one
Alright,
maybe.
let's jump to Anomaly.
Theory number 1. Theory number 2, Rebel. I need damage. He had anti-heal without needing to build anti-heal. I need damage, so this one seems fine off the roll.
Berserker Rage.
Go Echo 2.
Smeech.
Or leading theory.
Berserker.
Probably the actual reason. Go Echo 2 kind of sucks. I mean, I wouldn't fuck this game if I tried to play Vigo, right?
Is that rigged shop?
We have to get this BD and people with more funded.
Oh yeah, rigged.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you really need Echo to help.
Pretty sure that's rigged shop, right? Is that Blazing Soul? I can't tell. Did not include rigged shop in. Yeah, that makes sense. Rigged shop just gives you so much more. Makes it so much easier to hit your Smeech 3. And you can also roll for the Scar 3. Okay. And he took Berserker Rage. Let me see if I had Berserker Rage in my Anomalies section. I have that for Echo here. Alright. That covers game 2. We have Relic.
Yo creo que te investigo. Pues tengo 4 scrap también. A ver, a mí me gusta mucho Power Up en Scott.
Pandora's Bench can get you there, or okay. Benching out, probably reforge the sniper. Firelight. Alright, so 2-1 Firelight Emblem. And then that leads him down this path. Then let's go to. I want to see who he item holds early. Okay, he just got early Camille too, so he doesn't even need to really roll that aggressively. Slam the Even Shroud. And then now has Hodge, Edge of Night, Sterex. Wonder which one he's gonna make. Or some Okay, Edge of Night. Edge of Night's better on Camille, as we saw. Yeah, Edge of Night is core to Camille, which helps him. He's 4 streaking, so that'll help him continue his streak and preserve HP. All right, and then let's jump to Anomaly. It's pretty low on HP. Has not hit the Smeech 3 yet, so he probably doesn't want to roll too deeply on this. Nothing wasted, really. Not that many traits. Like, okay. His Ambusher Firelight Vi. Is that good enough? Oh, did he push levels this game? Yeah, this might be a scenario where you just skip the... Oh, maybe he's still rolling. Freestyling Echo. Okay. Next game.
Emblema era 50%. Ou acadêmico ou sentinela.
Sam vai assistir você sangrando e não fará nada.
Go to 2-1, see how he gets into this line. Where's his options? Rebel, Pyro, Crown Guard. I feel like Trade Sector is just not very gold efficient. Unleash the Beast, interesting. You would think that normally you would go Urgot with Unleash the Beast. Like Sterax on see, Urgot, Meal, Smeech. Oh, Smeech 3 with Smeech 3 with Sterax performs better than Urgot 3. I mean, I would guess you should expect that. Makes sense, he's a 3 cost, so I gotta add that to my augment list. Unleash the Beast. Okay, and then let's see, what unit does he stabilize with in the early game? So this was Darius carry early. This was Violet carry early. This one was Camille. And let's see, what's this? Got early Smeech, so he's just Smeech 1. Seems like, let's see if he, oh, he already has a pair of Smeeches, so my guess is he doesn't roll that much on 3-2. Swords, bunch of swords. Which makes sense because he already has the Unleash the Beast. Oh, he's not even leveling? I would have thought he could level here and roll a little bit. And this is on Warwick's. By the way, I think this is the one game that player gets a win, so I'm curious. Even level there. So then he's gonna probably get really aggressive on 3-5 is my guess. He wants another belt for one more Starax probably. Or another sword. Why has he got another sword over a belt? Wait, let me just go back. Alright, he goes to level 7 and then, yeah. So instead of at level 6 doing aggressive roll down, he waited till 7. Gets both of those and now he should be really strong. So I'm curious here. Should be able to go. Starts at 3-5. I assume he's like basically full streaking through. Yeah, 4-5. All right. I don't know how to translate this. Legacy of Shurima. Berserker. Rage. Okay, Berserker Rage. Alright, I'm kind of curious what he ends up beating in this game. Since this is the win out one. Alright, so what was this? This is a Bruiser Twitch. Giant Rennie 3. And he had Jinx, Victor, and then added the Loris in with the Rumble, and then has the Vi as well. We have another dish.
Why would you listen to your website still valid? Oh, honestly, no. I've
Alright, Pandora's Bench can lead into this. One, two, threes. Interesting. So when did he decide? Any slam Crown Guard? He has the Camille pair here. And the Smeech. He started with that Scar. So early game was Violet early. Let's see if he rolls on 3-2 to find the Camille 2. Health is wealth, okay. No rolling. So like the Violet 2's enough. Alright, 3-5. Does he go to 7? Yes. 3-7. 3-5 goes to 7, rolls to try to find probably Smeech 2? Camille 2? Found a Savika. Okay, and then let's go to Anomaly. He found a Firelight emblem, has a Smeech 3, takes Berserker Rage. Okay. Seems like Berserker Rage. Very common. But he does get knocked out here. Alright, Prestivent. Last game.
Where they fell, freedom grew.
Oh, Caretaker's Ally, if you get Meal, can end up in this line too. Latent Forge, okay. So he's probably flexing between Nocturne and Camille. Looks like he's leaning.
Nocturne. You can't.
Oh, he already just exited
Also, this is a no-go
Nocturne and
Krug. I'm
committed
also
to
leaning.
Smeech.
I think it's a no-go Krugs.
Alright, he's already committed Smeech here. Let's see what artifact he commits Techzz. Hits a very early Smeech too. Okay, so out of these, Death's Defiance is good. We went through, let's see, Death's Defiance, Smeech 3.9. Prowlers and Spectral Cutlass would have been better, but Death's Defiance is still quite good. You just want a lot of healing. Okay, and then I mean, this is going to be super stable. I suspect this will streak through, maybe even through Anomaly. Like, maybe he only loses one by Anomaly round. Oh, wow. It was not stable at all. He lost a lot of HP. Wait, wasn't he at... He's at 70 HP? I thought he would be way more stable. High tempo lobby. Freestyling. Relic took freestyling before. I guess you have a decent amount of traits. Okay. Add freestyling to this anomaly list. Alright, cool. So that covers the analysis. So this is the updated augment list, updated anomalies. I will include a link to these notes on my Roam research database in the YouTube description. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that this discussion around patience can help you in your journey, whether it's in TFT or something else that you're striving towards, a goal that you've set, a dream that you're pursuing, that this can help you with that as well. I would love to hear your thoughts, whether that's on the patience element, whether it's the hypothetical question here, or whether you have additional comments, questions on the Ambusher reroll line. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.